Alright, this is going to be a simple video just showcasing everything that I did for the Global Game Jam of 2026. This video is being recorded several months afterwards, but I made it during the time that the Game Jam was going. It just, I did go over the time limit a little bit by about like 4 hours. I slept, so technically, I was still within the limits of the activity, but yeah. The game has music, I just currently don't have it playing because this intro is difficult to do with music playing in my ears. Because the music is going to be a little loud. I could probably just make it a little quieter. Yeah. So this was a Game Jam game. The prompt for Game Jam was masks, and as a avid Bionicle fan, there was only one thing that came to mind, and that would be Bionicle. But considering how well it did turn out for being such a quick and dirty sort of project, I'm leaning towards the option of making it an actual game to buy on Steam. But of course, that will require a lot of changes. Specifically, it's still very much a very simple and very janky game. I want to polish it a little bit more. And then, of course, it is very blatantly Bionicle. I'd like to try and keep it as Bionicle as I can while still making it legally distinct. I'm not trying to get in trouble with Lego here. I just the vibe is cool. So I'm about to unmute the game, and that's probably going to be mid-song. The music is all made with Suno, so I didn't make it. It's AI generated, so probably not keeping that in the game either for any official release. Because, yeah, there's plenty of royalty-free music I could use. I just, at the time, really wanted it to be a Bionicle vibe because it was a personal project. So I used Suno to generate tribal elemental sounding music, which I really like. It fits the game, but yeah, it is AI generated music. We'll see. Yeah, so the main menu was a bit of a challenge to work on, but was satisfying to see come to a head. Basically just recreated the canister head circle thing that Bionicle always did. So, alright, brace yourselves for music. Oh, no music. Shocking. That might change. So here's the starting menu. You can pick different weapons, naturally based on all of the TOA. You can also change your element, and that will change your starting location as well. For the elemental weapons, it actually does change the material that they are holding, or, that the sword has. Just some fun little elemental stuff there. And then, of course, we've got the masks These are powerless, they don't do anything, but you find, I mean, it's the hunt for the masks of power, so we'll just start with the basic Tahu starter. And so it puts you in this lava volcanic area. I've got skull spiders because I had the skull spider mask already modeled. It is my own model. Everything that I've modeled here, or that is in this game, is my own 3D modeling. And yeah, basically there's technically only one map. However, it is freely rotated and decorated a little bit more, how shall I say it? Each region has its own decorations that make it not really recognizable as the same map. These are power-ups that can heal you, so if these guys hurt me, I can grab that and get my health back. The red ones there, or metallic ones, are they have 1 health and deal a little bit of damage, but the ones that are elemental have 2 health and deal more damage. This sword is strong, so it can kill all of them in 1 hit. The masks that you're looking for are all in the pots, so yeah, it's just a matter of finding the pots, breaking them open, seeing what's inside. Most of the time it will be little health orbs, but sometimes it'll be the mask, and that will move you to the next level. So yeah, you always will start in the region relating to the element that you choose. And they will always have the mask related to that element. So right now, the mask I'm looking for is the Mask of Shielding, because that is what is found in the fire region, because Bionicle. Each mask, well, I was about to say each mask has its own ability. Actually, the Mask of Water Breathing does absolutely nothing. Fitting to the Bionicle lore, since that kind of is the most useless mask for a Toa in the series, but that was not really the goal. I just ran out of time. The plan was to make it so that there would be like ranged elemental creatures, not just the spiders, but like I was thinking pretty much just elemental things, so nothing as fancy. They were gonna shoot like slow-moving ranged projectiles, and I was gonna make it so that the Mask of Water Breathing would protect you from that. So I've just found the mask. I know it's a little hard to see, but it's right there. Now I've got it, and I have a shield. My icon has turned to gold, and it moves me to the water region, where it's kind of supposed to feel like the parting of the sea kind of style setup here. I just didn't have a lot of time, so I used a very basic model. But of course, if I get this to a sellable state, the waves will be much more wave-like. It won't look so chunky and blocky and weird. There is a, I'm very happy with the, what is it called? That effect, so you can see through walls. It was very easy to get completely annihilated by enemies while working your way through certain spots. So that was a important effect to add. I feel like I should probably do that with the crosshair, but first I'm gonna make it so that that's actually like a crosshair, not a just a sphere. So that way its silhouette is actually identifiable and not identical to these, because these will show through walls, but yeah, I don't want it to look like the exact same thing, because their color is entirely set by the level, not by what they are. Maybe I'll be able to change that at some point, but for now it seems like a limitation that doesn't really need to change. It was hard to get the animations set up so that he's always like walking the correct direction, even though he turns with everything. It doesn't work as well as I'd like. The animations just always feel a little slidey. Most of the time it feels like he is actually walking the wrong direction, even though it's supposed to be the right way. I went through a lot of effort to make sure that it was the right animations for the right movement, and that there's actually like in between, but it still didn't work as well as I'd liked. So I'm probably going to work on that a good bit. I've showcased a fair bit of just the basic gameplay here, so I'm probably going to let them kill me. Yeah, I'm going to just let them kill me, so I can start showcasing the weapons here. The weapons and the regions here. So the hooks, every weapon is different. So this one, it deals 2 damage instead of 1, so that means that it can kill any of the skull spiders. The hooks, they only deal 1 damage, but they do a dash first if you're moving. So I'll just show that off. So if I'm not moving, I just do nothing really, but the attack, yeah, it's just a dash attack basically. It was hard to set up, it's a little hard to use. I'm definitely gonna try and make it a little bit better, as well as potentially make it so that it goes the direction you are pointing your character in, not the direction your keys are pointed in. Like, right now I have it so that it goes where you're going, and that seemed like the right choice, but just in playing with it, it's seeming more and more like I should make it so it matters where you're pointing the mouse, because everyone else does need to aim, like all of the other weapon types need to aim, but this one doesn't. And the keyboard is not a very precise way of determining your direction. Yeah, it's very hard to use those, so I'm also probably going to make their area of effect a little bit bigger. Oh. I'll have to fix that. The claws are extremely powerful compared to the rest. It's one of those things where these aren't very balanced, and I'm actually okay with that, but these ones just do a small area of effect around the character, and they have no cooldown, so you can literally just spam click and everything that gets close to you dies pretty much. Except for the elemental ones, they can oftentimes slip through, especially if you're moving. This one I actually had to use to showcase the game to family, because I had to remote play in order to show them, because I couldn't put it on a computer that anyone could really watch. So I remote played, but the mouse connection was just too weak. I had to use like a trackpad, and naturally pointing a character around with a trackpad this much is not very feasible, so I ended up basically just being like stuck in one position, just clicking the button all the time and just going around doing this the whole showcase. So not the best showcase, but it was just to my family, just showing my project off, so nothing too crazy. But yeah, he's very strong. The claw build is crazy, but it's even crazier when you actually get the mask of this region, the Mask of Strength, because the Mask of Strength doubles your damage output, which basically means that any Skull Spider can die instantly, which is very handy when you already are able to pretty much pulverize everything that comes close to you. I'll let this guy kill me here, so I can showcase the next weapon, and that would be the axe, which I'll also show the jungle. I forgot I'm also showing the levels themselves. A lot of these level designs, they came... Oh yeah, I forgot to actually talk about the axe while I was in the menu. I'll just let him kill me. The levels, models came last, so I really didn't have a lot of time to make them, better, higher poly, which honestly, I don't care too much about, because it does need to be performance light, but I could have made stuff like the palm trees have planes that had a palm leaf texture instead, so they'd look a little bit more real, but I just didn't have time to do stuff like that. So the axe has it's basically the same as the sword, except shorter distance, but larger area. So it's the closer things will all die. I say as I then whiff something. Basically, yeah, it's much shorter range, but it's oh, actually no, I think it might have more range and maybe less. I don't know. I forget, because it's been a while since I worked on it. But it's a bit slower, and I'm pretty sure otherwise it's pretty much the same as the sword. I'll definitely see about buffing it so that it's a little bit less like an inferior version of the sword. Maybe give it its own function. I'm gonna let myself get killed here so I can showcase the next stuff here. Alright. This one, the sword and shield, it's identical in function to the sword, except it deals less damage, and it has a really neat feature that makes it perfect for when you can't, when you have to go do something. See, no matter how many of these guys crowd around me, I cannot take damage until I attack. So these guys can pile up all they want, and they probably will kill me when I do attack. But for the moment, since I am not attacking, I am completely safe. Oh, they did get some damage out on me, but I was able to kill all of them. So yeah, this one, they just can't deal damage unless I'm attacking. Very strong. Not perfect, because usually if you do leave them to pile up, they will get some hits on you. But still, it's a pretty good one. It's especially good for when you can't really commit to staying present for the entire time, because there's no pause right now. I will add a pause before it's a playable game for people to buy, of course. But yeah, I don't have a pause menu right now, so this is very handy for that, because you can literally just AFK if you want to, and nothing will happen to you. It does make it a little hard to die intentionally, though, because you kind of have to try not to kill things while making yourself vulnerable. The elemental power weapon is a lot simpler because it is just basically like a super linear raycast. It's like a beam. Deals 2 damage, so it insta-kills anything. But yeah, it's basically just like a beam. It's a lot stronger because it's very long range, but at the same time, if you get crowded, there's not a whole lot you can do to protect yourself. So it's like the opposite of the sword and shield in that sense, where it's like you have to stay active if you don't want to get sent back to the main menu. Yeah. Pretty neat. So now I will take the time to talk about some of the mechanics here. I've set it up so that the spiders spawn at the pots. So every pot is also a spawner. There can only be so many skull spiders at one point. At one point in time it was infinite, but naturally that caused a lot of lag. They also, each pot has kind of like a radius that makes sure that you do not have any skull while you're right next to the pot. Well, at least not from that pot, so as long as I'm over here, they're not going to be spawning in this spot with me. So most of the time you never see them spawn, and it's usually they'll usually come from somewhere else. See, that was the kind of situation that is this weapon's weakness. When you get too many to just kill in one attack, and they spread out, so they're not even in a line. So each mask has their own abilities. I'll see if I can find the Mask of Speed, since I am here in the desert. Mask of Speed is exactly as it sounds. It just makes you faster. Very simple and easy. There we go. You pick it up, now you're fast. So originally the plan was to have a time limit, and you would need to get the mask, oh look at that, within the time limit in order to survive a calamity, basically. So here it would be that some sort of like lava wave would rush through, and you needed the Mask of Shielding to protect you. Might reintroduce that at some point here, but now I'm going to show what happens when you have more than one of the golden masks, because the point is to collect all of them. So now I have the Mask of Shielding and the Mask of Speed, and I can just hit a key to switch which mask I'm using. So now I can be protected when there's a whole bunch of enemies here. And then, once I've cleared the wave, I just switch to my Mask of Speed and I zip along to find the next one. Yeah, so it's not the most flexible mask switch like key. It's literally just spacebar right now, and it just cycles through in the order of the maps here. And this mask is absolutely useless, as I already mentioned. So yeah, it's not always the most intuitive of an order to go in, but it is kind of cool because, oh wow, I am really lucky right now. That's great. The different masks provide such radical benefits along with the weapons. You can actually kind of do some build crafting, especially since you're starting masks. You know, your starting element defines what mask you get first. So there's just a lot of build crafting that can actually happen in spite of how simple the game is. So I'm going to grab Mask of Strength here. Oh goodness, I almost died. That would suck. Alright. So I'm on a roll here, which is great. But the jungle is hard to navigate. So I may need to dedicate my time to the Mask of Shielding here to protect myself. As I said earlier, this the level, there's only one level technically. Every time that I load into a new level, it is technically a different level, but it's the same layout, if that makes sense. I made one maze and I just decorated it differently and let it pick its rotation. So technically you could learn the map really, really well. It still doesn't save you from all of the searching because while the pots locations are always the same, the mask's location in the pots is not. The mask will be in a different pot each time. Well, it's not guaranteed each time, but it's... Oh, look at that. So this one, the Mask of Levitation, visually does not... I didn't get to make it do what I wanted to do visually. But basically, the idea is that you would be flying above, like, this wall, basically. Like, higher than the wall. And the reason for that is that you can just go right through the wall. So this is a crazy powerful one because you can kind of just hang out here and the spiders can't get to you. And you're no longer in a maze, you're technically just freely able to move around. Technically, you can in fact change mask abilities while using it. It does tend to seem to bug it out a little bit, but eventually it will catch up and make you tangible once more. But, yeah. It's a little slow on the tangibility toggle here. But yeah. When you are using the Mask of Levitation, the only walls that stop you are the out-of-bounds walls. Did I call it the Mask of Intangibility on accident? Because it really is that in this game, but it's the Mask of Levitation, technically. You're supposed to be flying. You're also, if I had gone with the ranged attacks, ranged enemies like I had planned, it was also going to make you immune to the melee ones, the normal skull spiders. But I didn't get to that because I didn't get any elemental ranged attackers in the game. So that would just be too overpowered. Already as is, you can literally just AFK over here and they'll just never get to you. And you can still attack back. So it's better than even the shield. But, I came out of the wall. Yeah, let's just find this last mask. But yeah, every mask having its own function and every weapon having its own function definitely makes for a lot of different play styles that can happen, especially since you can also pick which mask you go for first, which radically affects how the rest of the playthrough goes. And there we go, I just got the last of the masks. So this one is the Mask of X-Ray Vision, and obviously you can already see enemies through walls, so that's not what it does. Instead, it shows you the contents of the jars, the pots. So that was a fun effect to make. Just like with the levitation, it's not the fastest to update. I'm not sure why. I'll try to fix that before it's ever a releasable game, but yeah, basically you can spare yourself the trouble of even breaking the pots with this one, because you can just look at them. I'm just gonna switch to the Mask of Speed here and zip around. See, the pot is still invisible right now, or transparent. It's not supposed to be anymore, but it is. Oh boy. Yeah, this definitely would be... Oh, wow, I found it already. Not that it matters because I already have it. But yeah. So that's all the masks. And I guess I gotta go die. Fitting mask to die with, the one that does nothing. So yeah, that's the game. As it was when I made it for the Game Jam. I'm planning to change it a lot before I put it on Steam as a sellable thing here, but obviously it's not in that kind of state yet. But yeah. I just figured I would record and show what all I did before I started making a bunch of changes, just to make sure that I can talk about those a little bit more clearly, even though it has been a few months since I worked on it, so some of the stuff I wasn't able to elaborate on as much as I would like. Yeah. And who knows, when I have worked on it some more for a while, maybe I will have more to say in a similar kind of video. Yep. I feel like there's one more thing I was gonna talk about, but I just can't seem to remember what it was. I'll just say this instead. I really want to keep the Bionicle vibe as much as I can, but obviously I do need to distinguish it some. I feel like most of my masks are plenty different, in spite of the fact that they are obviously recreating the vibe. I also kept it with a much more low poly, flat kind of different art style to it. That was intentional, but particularly the Miru and the Akaku, so the Mask of Levitation, and the here, I'll give reference so that you can actually see what I'm talking about here without it being so weird. This mask, the Mask of Levitation, is pretty close visually to the Bionicle version. It's way blockier, but I'm feeling like I should at the very least change this mouth area to not be so similar. Maybe take more night elements to it, give it some extra mouth protection. And of course, the Mask of X-Ray Vision has a lot more details that are preserved from the actual piece, so I'm definitely gonna have to change that one. But I feel like the rest of these, while they are clearly meant to be those, I feel like I did a good enough job at making them distinguished and different, and that I feel like I probably don't have to change them. But yeah, I feel like these two, you can, I mean, this one I feel is pretty distinct too, but this one is just a little too obviously Kopaka's mask. Like, too many details. So, probably changing that. But the weapons, I think the weapons are fine as is. Again, the most recognizable would be Kopaka's sword and shield, but even then, it's obviously not Like, I took the models, I did my own things with some of the light and the, yeah. Everything is different enough, I think. I do plan to take this a little bit further and add some currency to acquire from killing skull spiders and whatever other enemies I add, because I probably will change the skull spider model since it is incredibly high poly for, like, compared to these. And yeah, I'll add a currency that you can get from playing the game that will allow you to unlock more characters, or at least like body designs and similar kind of stuff, because yeah, I think it would be fun to actually have something to work towards other than just trying to get the masks. I also want to expand the variety of levels, and maybe, depending on how things go, if things go smoothly enough, then maybe I'll add more masks to unlock, or weapons to unlock, or both. But largely, the plan is not to really change the game itself too much, mostly just to polish it and make it more worthy of actually buying, even if it's only like a $2 or $3 game. Like, obviously, I'm not selling this thing for $30 or anything. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about it, so I'm not gonna keep this video going any longer. If you've watched this whole thing, thank you. I try to do more, I'll try to do more stuff like this. I try to do stuff like this, but then I end up not getting around to it, and then the opportunity seems to go away. This is one of those things where it's like, the day after I made this, I wanted to make this video talking about it, and then I just didn't, because I had other things I needed to do. And yeah, it just kind of kept feeling like, oh, well, the game jam's gone by already now, and it just doesn't seem like a fitting thing to post about. But now, considering my plans have changed, and now I'm going to try and finish this game and get it polished enough for sales and publishing, I think that it's worth talking about how it is right now. Because yeah, it'll be a nice thing to look back on after it's done. To be like, oh yeah, look at this thing's really basic origin. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will post more interesting stuff like this if you have enjoyed this video.